why Field of Dreams still hits home. Decades later, if you have not seen Field of Dreams, stop what you are doing. This is not a drill. There are movies you watch and movies that watch you back. This Kevin Costner baseball movie is firmly in the second category. Kinsella is an Iowa farmer. He hears a voice. He builds a baseball diamond in the middle of his crops and invites a whole lot of chaos into his life in the process. His wife, Annie, thinks he has completely lost it. His neighbors definitely think he has lost it. And somewhere around the second act, you realize the movie has been quietly working on you this whole time without asking permission. It came out April 21st, 1989, and people are still talking about it like it came out last week. A cast that grounds the magic. The thing about the Field of Dreams cast is that everyone in it seemed to understand they were making something a little fragile. Treat it too big, and the whole thing collapses. Kevin Costner gets that balance exactly right. Amy Madigan as Annie is genuinely wonderful here and does not get nearly enough credit for it. She plays a woman who chooses to believe in her husband even when the evidence is not great, and she does it without making Annie seem naive. That is a hard needle to thread. Ray Liotta as Shoeless Joe Jackson is quietly one of the best pieces of casting in 1980s cinema. Burt Lancaster arrives near the end and basically dismantles you with about 10 minutes of screen time as Moonlight Graham. And James Earl Jones gives the kind of performance that makes you realize you have been underestimating what this film was doing all along. The speech that defines the film. You know the one. James Earl Jones sits across from Kevin Costner and starts talking about baseball, and within about 30 seconds you forget you are watching a movie. His voice does something particular in this scene. It slows everything down. It makes the air feel heavier. It is an iconic baseball speech in the way that very few speeches in any film actually qualify as iconic. Jones passed away in 2024, and this scene is one of the main reasons that loss hit people so hard. He was not just an actor. He was a presence, and Field of Dreams is one of the clearest examples of what that actually means. Behind the scenes, small details, big impact. The Dyersville location is still there and still drawing visitors. Actual people make actual pilgrimages to stand on a baseball diamond in an Iowa cornfield because of this film, which is honestly kind of remarkable when you think about it. One of the more interesting behind-the-scenes details is that the studio originally wanted the line to read, "If you build it, they will come." Changing that single pronoun from plural to singular turned a baseball fantasy into a deeply personal father-son bond story. That is one word doing a tremendous amount of work. The cornfield was replanted several times to keep its look. Worth every replanting. How it changed baseball culture. It is genuinely hard to overstate the baseball culture influence of this film. It reintroduced Shoeless Joe Jackson to a generation that had never thought about him. It made fathers and sons pick up gloves for reasons that had nothing to do with the sport itself. And the MLB Field of Dreams game, which now happens every year on a custom-built field in Iowa, exists in direct response to the hold this movie took on people. Sports movies influence culture all the time, but very few of them reach into the actual infrastructure of the sport itself. More than a baseball movie. At some point you have to just say it plainly. Field of Dreams is a movie about missing your dad, your grandfather, or whoever it was that left before you were ready. Everything else is set dressing, beautiful set dressing, but still. The father-son reunion at the end of this film is the whole point. It is the reason people sit through the magic realism and the whispered voices and the cornfield full of baseball ghosts. Because when that final scene comes, it is not about any of that. It is just about two people and the space between them and whether there is still time to close it. Most people have a version of that feeling. This film knows exactly where to find it.